Here's the instructions on how to do the baby doll top, a high-low top, and for stone point crochet. This is the back of the top with this really pretty join as you go design. Also, just so you know which top we're talking about, this is the front, and here is the high-low part of the top. I'm going to be showing you how to do this join as you go design to join the back pieces together without sewing. So let's get started. Here's a quick recap of how this this high-low top was done. These are horizontally worked rows, and then you end up over here and you chain, and then you begin to work vertically across here, and you make an armhole. These armholes are left open until we do the collar. You make an armhole by just chaining and then working back down the chain. So you break away, you crochet up, and you break away with a chain, and then you crochet back down the chain and then begin the back. Now this is the completion of the back, so this is where we ended. I ended with a just some V stitches. You can use any stitches you want for this method, but it works out best for whatever stitches is to have a chain 2. You can do it with a chain 1, but a chain 2. Now the join as you go method is illustrated in a lot of how it making granny squares, attaching granny squares together. I use it to just make some extra designs on the back or front of my projects, but this is where I ended. So I started over here and came over here and ended over here. So then I attached my yarn to this side and did crocheted up and then down, made an armhole, and then ended right here. I'm using a different color of yarn so that you can see, and I'll try and explain it many times as I go and explain why it works the way it does. Okay, so now the orange side will be the very end. This is where I ended. And see, I don't have my V stitches in yet. You don't want to put those in yet. We're going to put those in and join to the other side as we go. That's why it's called that. I'm just using a different color so that you can see. See, this side has ended with my V stitches. This side I haven't made them yet because I'm going to join them as I go. So the orange side is the final side. Okay, so I have a triple crochet here, and if you're doing a half double, whatever your stitch height is, work with that. So my stitch height is a double crochet, so it's chain 3, and if yours is a half double crochet, it's a chain 1. Anyhow, they go by my pattern will explain all that to you. Okay, so I'm going to be chaining. Now the idea is you have to complete this part, this side first, before you attach it to here. So let me see if I can get my yarn out of the way. Sorry, it's a new ball, and I'm okay, so if you get lost on this at all, just look at your other side because you're going to be doing that. So here's a chain 3. So that's what that's what I did here. So you have to complete this part before you attach it. And you attach with a slip stitch. So I'm just going to attach it in the top of this chain 3 from the other side with a slip stitch. And a slip stitch is you go yarn over and through all the stitches on your hook. Okay, and this is going to look not as pretty, but you saw the finished product, so you'll know. All right, so we finished that. Now see, we're over on this side, but this isn't the side where we're working from. So we're going to be going up this side and putting this same pattern in with the V-stitches while attaching them. So just bear with me. Right here, look here, I skipped one stitch and put a V-stitch. So I want to attach them right here. This is what I decided in the chain 2 space. And you'll see why it works best if it's chain 2, but it'll work any way you want. So I'm going to skip a stitch and I'm going to do a double crochet just like the other side. And then there's a chain 2 that goes here, but I'm only going to chain 1, and then I'm going to find the chain space on the other side. I'm going to slip stitch to that side and then chain another. So for the V-stitch, I have the double crochet leg, and then I have 2 chains right here while attaching it to this side. Here, let's look at this really close. And then I finish the other leg of the V-stitch of the double crochet. So we'll be doing this again, so don't worry. It doesn't look as neat as pretty, but I started making my V-stitch on this side because this side doesn't have my final row on it. So I made a double crochet, I chained 1, but before I chained my second one, I slip stitched to here, to the chain 2. See the V-stitch there? See the V-stitches? I chained another one, so I chained 1 on each side of the attachment. Because this isn't an extra stitch, this is just where I slip stitch and attached them, and then I put in the other leg of the V-stitch with a double crochet. And we're going to do it again. Now we don't attach it yet because we only attach it where we're doing the chain 2 space. So just like this side, we skip 2, we yarn over to begin the first leg of our double crochet. We complete our double crochet, and we only chain half of this middle part right here. We just chain 1, and then we find the V-stitch on the other side in the chain 1 space, we attach them, and then we finish the other chain. So we have chain 2 here, and then we do another double crochet in the same stitch. So we've attached our V-stitches. Let's get it closer. So here we attached our chain 3s, and then we made our double crochet. This is the side that isn't finished. We made a double crochet, chain 1, slip stitched to this V-stitch, chain 1, and then another double crochet. Okay, let's go again. And then remember, always finish this double crochet, and this is a part where people want to go right into attaching to the next one, because that's a mistake that's commonly made. We're going to work on, we got to add this V-stitch first. This comes first. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to skip 2, we're going to put a double crochet here. We're going to begin part of the chain 2 that's in the middle, but we're just going to do half of them. We're just going to do 1. We're going to slip stitch, find the very next V-stitch, slip stitch, and then finish our chain 2 in the middle, and then finish our V-stitch with another double crochet. Okay, let's look at this. Alright, see these V-stitches on this side? On this side, these are see how they're attached in the middle? And that's what makes that design. That's all there is to this design. So you have kind of a diamonds here, and then diamonds in the middle, and then diamonds here. And I do this to make a design. It's an easier way than making seams, so you don't have to sew, but I do it for the design effect. So let's keep going. So now, remember, don't go right into the other side and attach it. That's wrong. You've got to begin your next V-stitch on this side. Remember, this side isn't finished. We still have a row on this, so we're doing this row while attaching to this side. So we're going to skip 2, we're going to double crochet, begin our V-stitch. This V-stitch happens to be a double crochet, chain 2 double crochet. So we're going to double crochet, we're chaining one of the two, chaining half of it, and then we're going to find the top of our next V-stitch right here, and we're going to slip stitch to that. Okay, now see, we have to finish our V-stitch. It needs one more chain and then another double crochet. So we're finishing our V-stitch. See? Let me get this really close. Let me let you see it. Okay, so see the V-stitches over on this side? Double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and see how we attached it? So we made our double crochet, and then we began the chain 2. We just did one of them, slip stitch, then did the other, finished our chain 2 that's in the middle of a V-stitch, and then we did our other double crochet for our leg. Then we didn't attach anything. We went over and started our next V-stitch. We skipped 2, started our next V-stitch with a double crochet. We chained 1. We attached it to the V-stitch from the other side. Then we chained 1 to finish it, so there's 2 chains here, and then we did the second leg of our V-stitch. So it looks complicated, but it's not. So let's just do some more together. Okay, so I've got to start my other V-stitch before I can attach it to anything. So I skip 2, double crochet, I chain 1, and then I'm ready to attach it. So I get the top, see this V-stitch on the other side? Here's the chain 2 space. I'm going to slip stitch right into there, slip stitch, then I finish my chain 2, then I chain in, so I have 2 chains there, and then I double crochet and do the second leg. Okay, let's do it again. Alright, so remember, we don't attach anything yet here because we've got to finish this side first. We're finishing the row on this side. This is the final row of this side. This side is already finished. The side is finished and been tied off. So we're going to do our first leg of our V-stitch. First half of it, we're going to chain 1. We're going to find the chain 2 space of the other side. We're going to slip stitch them together. We're going to finish our V-stitch with our chain, with a chain 1 and a double crochet. So there's videos on how to do this. I just wanted to explain why I do this. Okay, let's go into another one. Remember, we're not attaching anything yet. We have to start our orange V-stitch. Okay, so we're skip 2 and do a double crochet, and we're doing just half of it before we attach them. Double crochet, chain 1, that's half of it. We're going to attach it with a slip stitch, and we're going to finish it by chaining another one and then doing a double crochet. I'm going to do this slow and see what we have. And so now we go right to the next double crochet, and this on this top, if you're working on this top, we started tapering things, so if you get lost on it, we began to make the loops smaller. to taper it to the top, to make it smaller at the top. And so if you get lost, you just look on this side and do the exact same thing. So I can see here that mine went to a half double crochet with a chain 2 in the middle, and then it went to a single crochet with a chain 2 in the middle. So I'm tapering it, but I'm still giving myself 2 chains just because it looks more uniform that way. And I'm left-handed, so it's a little bit, otherwise it's awkward to show you. So this one is the beginning of the taper for those of you that are doing this exact top. So I'm doing a half double crochet, I'm chaining 1. We're just making the legs of the V smaller or shorter. And so here's the half double crochet, chain 2. So I'm going to slip stitch into there. I'm going to do my other chain, and then I'm going to do a half double crochet leg to finish my shorter V stitch. So then I just look and see what I did next. For the next part, it looks like what I did was skip 1 and single crochet, chain 1, and then attach them. Chain my second one, and then the very next one I want to slip stitch. That's for my pattern. That's just what I did here. So, and then I slip stitched up here, so I'm going to finish slip stitching up here just for those of you that are doing this high-low top pattern, so you can see how I finished it. And then I slip stitched all the way up. So this is the opening that we're going to be putting a button on right here. This is the opening for the neckline, so we can still have a high neck but get our heads through. So this is just the opening in the back, and here's what we have. You see that? Congratulations on doing this top. Have fun. Bye.